everybody to the Frito and Willie show. I'm your host, Frito Marcelin, and we got your boy, Willie Mac Trill in the building.
You know what I'm saying? I just do what I do like I'm doing it for TV.
Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. I love it. Yo, Willie, man, you know how we always get into it, man. What you been listening to, guys? What you got?
It's been a weird time. You know, we're in the middle of election season, so it's been hard to just stay focused on a lot of things right now. I know we talked about this song already, but I'm just gonna put out there. Liberation by Outkast has been on steady rotation. So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time talking about this song because we talked about it in the posse cut, but yeah, Liberation has been on steady rotation in the Hill household. You know, so that's honestly the song I listened to the most this week is Outkast Liberation, man, because it's just been a fun time. And also, I'm still on the Black Thought album. I'm still on the Black Thought album, like super high on the Black Thought album. Streams of Thought Volume 3. Oh my gosh, like we're probably going to do I may do a mini on that and post it and talk a little bit more about it because it's just so deep to get into, man. But he is dropping, you know, jewels. Fabergé egg omelets is a line he says, and I'm just like, okay, I'm done. Like he just on some other right now. So a lot of thought this week, and a lot of liberation. That's what I've been on.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you, my dog?
So I listened to the Impossible song on the Wu-Tang Forever album. We are going to be just discussing the episode of this Wu-Tang this Wu-Tang show that Impossible is named after.
Oh, that's right. Word up.
Is named after. But in listening to the song, I forgot how Wu-Tang Forever was a great album, man. And I forgot that, you know?
I need to revisit it. I felt so bloated to me at the time. I think I was double albumed out by that time.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Even within the double album, there's still some hidden jewels. And Impossible wasn't even one of the hidden jewels that I remembered. But re-listening to it again, I'm just like, this song not only really touches on the episode, but really kind of touched about the feeling about the outcome of life, even what's going on for today, to be honest with you.
Whoa, help me out. Can you expand it a little bit?
Because I feel like the overall arching theme about Impossible is like, you just feel like it is impossible to defeat the powers that be.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
And you kind of, you recognize it, you see it, you acknowledge, you know, and of course there are some conspiracy theories within that song in and of itself.
Yeah.
But really it's just kind of like, damn, it's impossible to defeat a god, you know? And it's like the powers that be really are kind of like the gods of this world who are controlling things. And really, how can I defeat that? RZA he starts out the verse and goes into his RZA-ness, but
he does.
I'm a fan of the RZA-ness.
Yes, you are. You are.
Yeah. I think it's a fresh sound compared to the stuff that you normally hear in hip hop, where I feel like he tries to infuse something. He does it in his own way, and I like it. I like it a lot. You know, it kind of reminds me of the episode that we saw earlier where Bobby was talking about like the zygote and all that stuff.
Yes, fallopian tubes.
But RZA is in true form. He is in true form in this song. He goes in and it's like, dang.
So you reminded me of this song that yo, it's deep, man. It is definitely deep. You know what I'm saying? Babies getting pierced with microchips, you know. Stuffed inside their earlobes, then examinated. blood contaminated, vaccinated lives fabricated, exaggerated authorization, Food and Drug Administration, testing poison in the prison population. Yeah, man. RZA's at his peak RZA-ness on this dope. A lot of multi-syllables on this joint, dog. RZA be killing the multi-syllables. Nah, but and all jokes aside, though, like I didn't, you know what I'm saying? It is amazing that I did not catch the connection of this song in this episode. So yo, like jewels being dropped by you right now, man.
But then also too with that, the sound.
Yeah.
I feel like you remember how Dre 2001, his 2001 Chronic, just came with a different sound. That the sonic aptitude of that album was sounded sonically different to what was going on, and it was unexpected because I think we're used to G-Funk Dre, and it was like he actually was the perfect name for it with the Chronic 2001 because it was the Chronic 2001 next century out. So yeah, I feel you. Yeah. And I feel like RZA brought in a new sound. It kind of sounded like a harpsichord a little bit. Yeah, he was experimenting crazy on this album. You know, and I appreciated that. Like to this day, I'm just like, I'm feeling it. And you know, even with songs like Triumph and other songs, he really went to the lab to bring us something new that I think I took for granted back then. I appreciated it. There's too much music out, bro. It was just too much. Dog. Do you remember what got nominated for Grammys that year? The Grammy nominating, you know, because you remember ODV's Wu-Tang's for the Children. Yes. It was this versus No Way Out Puffy. Wow. Versus Life After Death Biggie. Like, that was the same, literally the same. You know, that's just those three songs. Like, nah, man, that was crazy, man. That was a nutty time, man. It was just too much music out. Yeah, man, it was just too much. And so I think that, I mean, this is 97, bro. 97 was crazy in hip hop. So, yeah, man. Yeah. So this makes sense. Most def. Yo, so I think we could hop into the episode, man. Yeah, let's go. I'm gonna let you know right now. Best episode of the season so far. A corner has been turned. Yes. Why for you do you feel that way? Well, very, very selfishly, I was excited because there's a certain character I've been hoping would make an appearance sooner or later, and he did. And that's Rebel, aka the Rebel INS, aka Inspector Deck. Yeah. And so I was super geeked when I noticed he was like, I'm gonna go to my boy Rebel's house. I'm like, Rebel, like, I hope that's who I think it is. And so talk about Bobby going to, he said, Shogun. Shogun was saying that he was staying with his homie Rebel. And I'm like, I know a guy named Rebel, you know? And so the fact that it was Deck, and the first time you see Deck, he actually is doing and it was actually crazy because that's what Method Man said that he got his name from, that because Deck was always inspecting the situation. Like, he's quiet. He's always just like trying to see what's going on. So the fact that it's that Rebel was spending a large part of the episode staring out his window of what was going on in his in the basketball, I guess the courtyard of basketball, whatever you want to call it, the front of his homes, and peep the fact he was like, yo, that Shogun song I played 57 times today, and like he noticed all these things. It was just really, really good to finally get Deck. But also, it was a well-written episode. It's like starting with the pigeon thing, and how it was like, it almost like it really went from like, okay, it's a decently written show to like, yo, this was a well-written episode. Like, who wrote this, and why haven't they been writing the whole time? Yes. So yeah. The pigeon thing. I mean, that should have been the first episode. Like, that would have been great. Like, I don't know, but
Yeah, it was great. Really great episode.
Man,
That's why I've been telling you to hold on, because for the viewers out there, Frito. I think it was like episode 3 or 4. You were like, bro, like if it wasn't for this pod, I don't think I would finish this out. Remember, I kept saying, hold on, just hold on. Let's just get past the midway point, and then there's a change. This is what I was talking about,
bruh.
This was a change.
You hit it right on the money where it was well written. They finally picked a theme that kind of matched with the feeling of the episode and just carried it through. It was smartly written.
It was intertwined.
Yes.
While introducing new characters. Because it's crazy, because that's what's been rough about it, is that they introduce these characters and it's like they feel like they're making a place for them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you introduce Rebel and Jerome, and it didn't feel messy. Like it was like it's you know what I mean?
It meshed.
And since the previous episode, a lot of the previous episode was dealing with the selfishness and people's failures to solve what was the central problem of the last episode, which was that these mob guys are threatening Bobby's family's life for not paying the debt associated with Auntie Laurie's malfeasance, and it continued with that.
Yeah.
Sometimes these episodes have been feeling like what-offs, where it's like something happens and it doesn't really continue to the next episode as much. Whereas this one, like, there was still a problem, and they didn't let you forget that there was a problem. But it was cool, very cool.
Yeah. And I like how you said that it's a problem, because earlier on there was a worry for me that this was going to be typical Good Times episode appearances. Yeah.
That is well said. Please explain that a little bit more for those who are not familiar.
So for those who are not familiar, Good Times was a show back in the 70s with Jimmy J.J. Walker, had your boy John Amos.
John Amos, man.
Florida
Evans.
And Florida Evans. I can't remember her real name, but that was her character name, Florida Evans. Yeah. It also had Janet Jackson, who appeared later on in the series. She was in there. But it was about this Black family who blue collar working, who grew up in the projects in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And it was a comedy, but intertwined, it was like a dramedy.
Super dramedy. Yeah, man.
Because they would just, the episodes would take you through where they go through tough times, where like, things are going to happen all right for them, where it's like, it's going to be good, and then something just smacks them right in the face.
It's like Raising in the Sun, the TV show.
Yes. That is on.
That's it. And the fact this was entertaining says a lot. Cause I'll be real with you, like we watch Good Times on reruns, of course.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Growing up, I did not understand the appeal of the show growing up. I didn't get it. Yeah. No. I mean, I got that it was great television.
Yeah.
But I had a hard time understanding how it was entertaining.
Mm. Well, you had Jimmy J.J. Walker, who was
he was the comedy relief on steroids, and he was great. But it was right, like when you're saying, like, and even like you ever like re-listen to the hit? It's like the intro to the song music. Temporary layoffs. Good time. What in the world is going on? I'm gonna go watch The Fresh Prince. Like, I mean, it was just, or the Jeffersons even. It was, but you're right. Like, it was just this continued, and it really was like Getting By, the TV show. The show could have been called Getting By. Ain't no good times happening. It's Getting By. The series, but it's relevant. No diss coming from me. Super relevant, incredible television, realistic television, powerful television, and I think for a lot of people, it gave an insight of like a very realistic very realistic capture of the experience for a lot of Black and brown people in this country. You know, like especially in Chicago, because like Chicago to most people is Michael Jordan, and it's this, you know, the building formerly known as the Sears Tower, and all the art and museums and, you know, food, the Taste of Chicago, and, you know, the Chicago Bears, and, you know, all the Al Capone and all these type of things. But like, nah, like it's also greeny green, you know what I mean? And it's also good times, and it's, yeah, man, that's a rough. It's a rough. It's even rough for me to watch now at almost 40 years old. So yeah, good capture. I mean, it is. It's still rough for me to watch now.
You know, I haven't watched one in probably maybe 15 years or something like that.
TV One, because you don't got TV One on cable. That's what TV One does. TV One shows Sanford and Son. It's crazy because Sanford and Son is literally like the same, you know, a lot of the same situation, but it just was more humorous. Like,
I got you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Sanford and Son was getting by. What's happening was getting by television. And there's one more I can't think of right now. 227. You know what I'm saying? Even little ways. But to me, Good Times just smacked you over the head with it. You know, so I mean, but it was deep television, incredible television, legendary television.
So I wonder if that's the case, because all those other shows, from what I'm taking from it, I think had comedic actors predominantly, whereas Good Times had John Amos and the character that plays Florida Evans, where these were no small time players, and basically, from my understanding, this, you know, so like they really brought some dramatic effect to it. John Amos, especially, boy.
Esther Roll.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I need to figure that out. It was on the tip of my tongue. I just couldn't think of it. Esther Roll
and John Amos, they were the center points of bringing that tragedy to the forefront.
Yeah, man. And this episode captured a lot of that feeling, like you said, man.
Most deaf.
A lot of that feeling, man.
One of the reasons why this was such a great episode for me, and what I felt like elevated the episode, your boy, man.
Who?
Bokeem Woodbine.
Yo, just okay. I'm gonna hold off my comment. Please go more into it. The greatness that is Bokeem Woodbine. Go ahead, man.
So, not many times I'm saying like, okay, man, Bo, you know, he's normally not like the central point of a movie or anything like that, you know, and he's, you know, he brings an aura.
He's a great actor. Underrated, great actor, yeah.
And when I saw like how they were doing the pigeons and they showed the back of this guy's hair, I'm just like thinking in my head, is that okay? So
yes, you know that head in the ears? You know that head in the ears. You got that thing going.
So not really thinking about his action, his acting presence, but just thinking about like the excitement of like, oh, he's in the building. And then when I saw him and seeing him throughout the whole episode, I felt like he was one of the main reasons why the episode was elevated. I felt like his acting elevated the other actors who he
he and Erica Alexander's chemistry was nuts.
Nuts. Oh my goodness. You felt that, didn't you?
Yeah. Like it was like, oh, I mean, no diss to the other actors on the show, but you definitely know that a lot of these other actors probably first major situation, and you can sort of tell. Like, and there's no diss, because that rawness is a strength too. But it was like master session when Erica and Bokeem shared conversation in the episode. It was beautiful. Yeah,
it was beautiful.
It's crazy how like good acting just really does that, and it's like good acting. Like you could watch a movie and somebody can like how they act. You know, they were straight, but like then there's that one scene like, but on that scene they were killing it, and it's like that's what it was today. Like you're right. I feel like everybody's performance upped up this episode.
Most definitely. You know, and it ain't even got to be over the top. It could be the simplest of things.
like his facial expressions. Like you saw the part when he was like, "I'm not gonna move until you say you trust me," and he did the thing where he didn't move.
Yes.
It was corny, but it was like not everybody can do that and not look corny.
Exactly.
It was corny that he did it because he did it, but the acting wasn't corny.
I felt like Erica, I feel like that was a real moment because I feel like she was like, eventually he's gonna move, right? And she's like, he's not gonna move.
He didn't blink.
Move. It was a special moment. I loved it.
It was crazy. Like little stuff like that makes a show turn from being good to being like, wow, this is a good show.
Exactly.
And, that's that Wire, that Breaking Bad, that that Atlanta, like that's what separates Breaking Bad from Power. It what separates The Wire from Breaking Bad and The Wire from Empire. Like when people compare those three shows, like you want to see me just flip over a table. I'm like, nah, bro, like no. Omari Hardwick, what's up, dog? Like, dude, you know what I'm saying? But no, those moments are far and few between on those type of shows. But in The Wire, it can happen when two people driving in the car and something like so that's what happened. I'm so glad you called that too, because I was just like, damn, like something's weird here. Oh, it's because it's really, really, really good. So yeah. Everybody. I don't know. Maybe this is when they took a break in the show, like because they probably feel like episode after episode, they maybe like a break, and everybody came from the break. Maybe they watched the first episode, and like, hey, I need to be better at this. I need to be better. But it was clear everybody was acting better in this episode.
Yeah,
everybody.
And that's the thing that like last two episodes, because the episode beforehand we spoke about how like, all right, it's starting to get better.
Yes.
And then the last two episodes, I don't know if they're finding their groove. I don't know if like they kind of like saw like, all right, because in the beginning we felt like they didn't know what they were doing, where they were going. It just felt disjointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And here they come. They're finally flowing. It's kind of like they're finding themselves.
Yes.
They're finding their voice.
Yes.
And I'm just like, I'm all for it, you know? So, man,
there was just so much intertwined. Like even the Miss Burgess situation. The lady in the apartment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like how because I just feel like if they would have done this earlier, it would have been sloppy. But like they were able to introduce her in, and the purpose of her was to show the generational divide.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like she's playing Nina Simone, but if Nina Simone would have come out in 1995, she might have been Bahamadia. She may have been Lauryn Hill. Like it's just like, but they're saying some of them are saying the same thing: revolution, expression, all this type of stuff. And so she's playing Nina Simone. Like we need Nina right now, and like you're like, wow, like it's just the generational divide. Like these kids who outside rapping, they think they're Nina Simone because they're able to spit creativity and do these incredible things. Like even the acting of the extras, like I felt those young boys out there rapping.
Yes.
I felt like it pissed me off, but I even felt their interactions with Miss Burgess, like, man, throwing the rock at her, shut up, bitch, and all that type of stuff. I felt all of that. It was so realistic. It didn't feel contrived. It was like this. I've seen this conversation happen. Like I've seen this. I wasn't a part of it. I might have witnessed it, but I definitely have seen that happen. I've seen the old church lady on her porch telling people like, can y'all cut that music down? Why y'all playing in the street? And then, you got that one knucklehead, man. Miss Burge, get your ass in the apartment, man. I seen that. So it was just, I'm like, they writing their butts off. They really, and how that little, because at first, like, why is Miss Burgess important? I mean, she's important, but like introducing her and then seeing the circle.
Yeah.
In the complexity of our neighborhoods, because it's like, she was all in the right for calling the police. Let me put that out there. like throwing rocks in her house. She had been nice. She had been super nice, and she'd been frustrated. And she's telling them stuff like, treat your elders, treat your women right. They throw a rock at the house. My mama would have called the police, probably. You know what I'm saying? Especially because there's no husband, no son there. You know, she's there by herself. Like if her husband was still around, he probably would have walked outside. And you see how they treated the old man that I guess is addicted to the substance. You know, they push him out the way and everything. And it's just like this lack of continuous for respect between generations and African Americans, and it's still like that today. And the fact they went with a circle, that she calls the police, she even calls the black police. Like she even gets, you know, and then it goes. I know we're gonna get into this, like eventually it goes super left, and we'll get into that. And the guilt that she has, like, oh my gosh, did I do this? And it was like, wow, this is like, okay, I'm gonna turn it over to you so before I talk too much about the plot.
No, so I mean, we can flow into it. I guess before we go into that, I'll say this. Your boy David East is starting to get better and better every episode.
He felt like he was Tikal in this episode.
Yeah, because early on, I was like, I know from a physical standpoint, he reminds me of Tikal, but I didn't know if he was really embodying the essence of Tikal. Yeah. But these past 2 episodes, I was like, oh, okay.
I wonder if it's because of the rapping. You think that's what turned, like?
I think it may be because I feel like the rapping scenes have gotten better. The rapping.
Way better. Way better. I mean, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed the first ones, but like the rapping has gotten way better.
Because sometimes I feel like earlier on, it was getting into a karaoke style beat making of rap a little bit.
Yeah.
But right now, I feel like, I don't know if they went back into the lab, right? Let's really make a production quality sound for this particular journey that they're on in this episode.
Yeah.
And again, even that meshed in. It was just kind of like, because I was feeling the past 2 diss tracks that they, like, you know, the killer. I was like,
Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah, I wanted them tapes. Yo, I went online looking for Mr. Nice Guy, and I think they really just did it for the show. And like, I mean, I can find it on YouTube, like in its entirety. Someone did a great job of it. But I'm like, I would bump this today. Both of those tracks.
Yeah. So I just want to say that about David East, because I feel like he deserves some props. Because, like, man, he's coming with it.
With the crutches and everything, like he's so fly cool with it, like how you got the girl's number and everything. I can see that being meth. I really can see it. And the whole, like, he don't rap no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he was dropping severe bars, which brings me to what we've been waiting for a long time, is a certain other guy that finally started rapping again, and Shaw. Yo, and this dog. He is doing a great job at Raekwon, like, for me, anyway, because he's salty. And Raekwon's a salty dude. Like, if you talk to Nas, Ghost, anything, like, yo, like, Ray really was like that, like, super, like, just temperamental and little guy type of thing going on. But yo, he's like, you think you gonna be a star? Yo, I believe Ray said that to say about it. You think you're going to be a star? Meanwhile, grown men out here handling business. It was so real. That was so real, man.
Oh, my God.
And then Ray finally gets on, because you know, first, the episode we just did, what made Ray want to start rapping?
Oh, you know, the females.
The freaking female. And I don't know if it is. I thought that was the same young lady that he saw in the car, but I'm gonna rewatch it. Okay. But he's sitting there looking at this dude. It did like what tripped me out. If you're Shy is such an interesting character, because he's probably like everybody's fugazi but me. Because Power is even like, yo, I need to get a copy of that tape. Excuse me?
Mm.
Power, I'm sure he expected Power to be like, man, nobody listen to that bullshit. We making money, son. But it was like, yo, I need to get a copy of that tape. He looking like a fan. Even Hayes, who the earlier member, he was like, yeah, he's like, yo, just hide in the streets. And I was like, this is crazy. But it's also realistic. Even everybody getting better in rapping, I wonder if it wasn't intentional, because it's a hidden little thing. Because it's like, we're talking about they got better rapping. They should have gotten better rapping.
Mm.
It should be more whatever. Meth should be walking around with a notepad and got rhymes ready to kick at a moment's notice on the block. You know what I mean? He should be. He's got a tape out. You know what I'm saying? You grew up around cats who rapped. Like, you always gonna get that person gonna come up to you like, yo, man, give me something. And if you're method and you on crutches, you not working, you probably got rhymes for days. And you see Raekwon, Shy come up the room. Of course, I'm gonna pull out my best rhymes I got in the pad. I'm waiting for Shy to show up. I'm waiting for D-Love to show up. I'm waiting. Oh, for the yes. It was just, I'm like, how are y'all getting everything right in this episode? Can we go back to Jerome real quick though?
Say what?
Can we go back to Jerome?
Yeah, go ahead.
Man, F Jerome. So look. So I went from Jerome's all right to F Jerome back to dang Jerome, that dude. Like multiple times, because I definitely was on some F Jerome when he got ready to skip school. And of course I feel that way. I'm an engineer and I'm all about education. And I definitely was on some F Jerome when he was sort of like downsizing Cherie, like, you need to get your head out them books before you're an old lady with a cat. I thought that was very, but you know what? I grew up with a lot of Jeromes, bro. A lot of Jeromes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was like, because I started to hate Jerome, and I realized, because I was raised around Jerome's. You know what I'm saying? I definitely, to this day, I remember getting my scholarship at the University of Florida, going to the barbershop, and we were a small town, so it took a little while. My father told everybody he could find, and my mom too. So I remember getting my hair cut at the barbershop summer of, so it may have been like May, June, like I'm about to leave in a couple of months. And this older cat was in the barbers. And my barber was like, yo, man, this young brother finna do some things, man. Like my barber literally raised money, created a scholarship and gave me like $100. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, I was like crazy for me. Like he was like, man, this ain't a lot. But and he still does the Jones Master Cut Scholarship. Gave me some money, man. He's like, man, hope this buys a book or something. Like I was getting a lot of support in my neighborhood. Real talk. Shout out to Putnam County. But this gentleman, in front of a barbershop full of people, goes, why y'all hyping this boy up? Y'all know what's finna happen. He finna go down there, get on drugs or alcohol. He'll be back here he'll be back sitting right in that chair in a year and a half, guaranteed. And so the barber stopped cutting hair. This guy's in the chair. He stops cutting hair and was like, yo, if you finna talk the way that young man, you just go on and get out here now. Other people in the barbershop was like, the hell wrong with you? And somebody was like, you better be glad we don't tell him your name. Because if his father heard this, it'd be a situation. If his uncles heard this, it'd be a situation. So I did tell my dad. My dad was like, who was it? Now, I don't know. And I think he asked the barber, asked Mr. Jones, like, who it was, and he wouldn't tell my dad who it was. Because it's not worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but I grew. That's who I saw. I was like, that's Jerome. That person that, you just got out of jail, but you kicking knowledge. Shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? Then also Ohio. I hate this. I hate movies. This is a negative part of it, but it's also realistic. Every time you said Ohio, I thought about Africa from the movie Belly. When now I'm saying go to Africa, and just Africa's not a country, it's not a state, it's a whole continent. Senegal, Egypt, Kenya, South Africa, and Chad are 5-6 different situations. No one goes to Africa. So every time he kept saying, Ohio, grass green, it's cows. I'm like, you can get that in New York too, just not New York City. New York is mostly a rural state. If you you take away NYC, you know what I'm saying? It's a rural state. So it was just weird to hear me you need to go to Ohio. I get it though, because that's how we talk. People be like, yo, I'm going to Texas. And you just sit there now as an adult, you be like, you moving to Texas? Yeah. What part? Because El Paso or Abilene. Denton or Houston? What are we doing? Ohio has 4 metropolitan cities. I was like, are they going to Cleveland? Are they going to Cincinnati? Are they going to Youngstown? Where are they going? Going to Toledo? Oh, they're going to rural Ohio. It'd be great if you gave me a city. But so I thought he was selling dreams, bro. I believe nothing what Jerome was saying. 0%. I gave him 0% clout until
those dudes.
What was that?
Because we met those dudes who sell you those pipe dreams who
I still know them dudes. And no offense to I can't think of Eric Alexander's character's name right now. But no diss to her, but she has 4 children and none of the father, and it looks like this guy is only the father of Randy. So I don't know who's the father. It does look like Cherie and Divine share the same parent. I'm assuming that Bobby has the same parent, but during the conversation you could tell that Cherie and Divine have the same parent. So you talk about at least 2 men, maybe 3 men of father. So she's been set up for the okie doke, no judgment, a couple of times already.
Yeah.
And so those dudes come back in your life, man. In real life, those guys come back in your life. He just got out of jail. It seems like he just got back out of jail. He needs somewhere to be, and he already I could tell you a story tonight at bedtime. Come on, cuz. I'm so glad she didn't fall for that myth. So I love the acting of Jerome, but I was like, F Jerome, until something happened. I don't know if you want to go into that.
Yeah, man, we can go into it. Jerome, so we know the situation that the character, they're trying to bring up some money to pay off this stolen money that Lori took from the numbers game with the Italian dudes. And so she has to go to the mob, to the store, to tell yo, I can't make the payment right now. And it's thinking about what are the consequences that she and her family are gonna take. But then as she's about to go into the restaurant, the mob dude just passes by yo, have a nice day. So she yo, what's going on? And then in the store, she sees your boy Jerome with Fat Larry. Now,
F Fat Larry too.
Say what?
F Fat Larry too, by the way. But go ahead.
Now, mind you, the way Jerome finds out is because him speaking with Randy.
So skipping school work.
Those off days at school. He started chatting.
Did every kid have the solar science project? Did every kid do that?
I'm assuming,
Did you do it growing up? Did you have to do it?
I feel like there was some. I know I definitely did a volcano. Solar system may have been a in-house school project or something like that. Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah. But I definitely know that your mom would have made sure that you was on point to complete all your assignments.
No joke. No joke. Like it was not a game. Like I was not skipping school to hang out with my dad or my uncles. It was not gonna happen. Like what's that? Saturday? You can't wait till Saturday. You can't get ice cream on Saturday.
For real.
Man, I was like, F Jerome. Jerome for the mess everybody life up. You telling Cherie to be an underachiever. This is not the time that Cherie finally got rid of D-Love. And, like this is not the time, and, little dude, what's the name? What's the little brother name?
Randy.
Little Randy. He a nerd. He into Voltron and Soul Systems. Let him be that guy.
Right.
So the fact he's like, he can learn more from me, to go to school. Learn what? How to get caught? I hate that. Oh, you want to, I know too many dudes that are like that.
Willie got PTSD.
I got PTSD, bro. For the record, my father was not one of those people, but some of my friends' fathers were. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, so he comes through. I don't know where he got the money from, which is weird, but that's a plot hole that maybe we may get later on. But it was like I said, like I don't think the money was super big money. Like nobody's playing. The Rib Shack ain't getting like $10,000, in the lot numbers. It's probably like 2G, but it's still a lot of money now. 2G ain't nothing to sneeze at. When you got other bills and nobody has a legal job except mom who works at the Rib Shack as a waitress. So you talk about minimum wage in 1991, you're talking about $4.25. You know what I'm saying? So 2G's, it's a lot when no one else has reliable income.
Right.
I don't know how they not get audited for their taxes, but that's a whole other conversation. But you an adult, you be like, how they can afford the house and stand down off a waitress salary, no one's auditing it. Anyway, whatever. Who's their tax accountant? That's the real MVP of this episode, their tax account. But but real talk, like how are they doing this? How are they not? There be so many red flags in real life. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, Jerome come through with the money, and never say how much the money is, but I'm assuming $2,000.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm not playing around. Like I'm serious. So all of a sudden, I went from F Jerome, like literally, I went from F Jerome to damn, my man Rome, like in a 2-minute situation. Because what I thought was about to happen, this is what I thought was going to happen.
Okay.
I thought Jerome was about to get murked. So That's where I thought episode was going. I thought Jerome was about to go over there and be on some, Fat Larry, Patsy, like, don't leave my kids, leave my family out of this. I'm home now. If you got a problem with me. They're like, okay, cool, boom. So that's what I thought was about to happen. I did not foresee at all Jerome paying the money.
No.
At all. 0%. I was like, damn, like, so they got Bakeem Woodbine for one episode. That's literally what I thought. I'll be real with you. I was like, oh, okay, so Bakeem finna give him a quick check. I was getting pissed off, but they're like, damn, man, Bakeem acting his ass off, and they finna kill him off. And you may still get killed off, but I was just like, damn, they got him for one episode. This is whack. So for him to be the hero, I was totally caught off guard.
Oh my God. It was a beautiful scene. I did not see it coming as well. He came through. Do you feel like the company wanting to buy his land is true or not?
Hell no. To be honest with you, I hope I'm wrong. So this is just too much familiarity for me.
Yeah.
Personally, I've seen this happen in real life. I've seen people be like, yo, my great grandfather owned some land in Kentucky and somebody bought it and everybody's like, holy crap, we finna get paid. And then either it's not what they thought it was gonna be, the money, or they didn't really own it. Like this happens, especially in places like where I'm from, where it's quite reasonable that someone did buy some land back in the day in some rural part of Ohio or Kentucky or Georgia or Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden you realize there's no real deed, and it's the white man done took your land. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. So, like, I was just trying to figure out how this dude got out of jail. He got all this money, and now he got land. Anytime someone said, also, like, I'm just so country. I literally laughed when he said, land got minerals in it. Oh my God. What minerals, bro? That's oil? Got minerals in it. Dog, I literally was like, I'm cracking up. This too much. It's too much. The writing is too good. Like, they talk to some people. This is literally the language I grew up with. People like, that land got minerals in it. And, like, as a kid, you're like, what? You don't want to ask. Like, that was the adult. Someone told you, like, no, they got minerals in it. What, quartz? What are you talking about? What? How do you even know it has minerals in it? What does that mean?
Minerals like rocks?
Rocks? Salt? Dinosaurs? Shut up. Oh, such just incredibly written episode. Like that, those little things. Cause if it were written by a white person, no diss to anybody. If it were written by a white person, you know what they would have said? That land got oil. That's what they would have said. It would have been like the land got oil or something. But minerals is exactly what black people would have said. Without any type of specific quartz. You know what I'm saying? It would have been like, the land actually has a lot of quartz. It's like, oh wow, okay, cool.
Minerals? Oh my God.
Minerals. That ain't me.
Oh man, dude. Oh my gosh.
So I'm laughing now because we got to make a left at the sad part of this episode.
Yeah, man. So go ahead and take it, man, because you had a point where it comes down to nearing the end of the episode.
Yeah. So Miss Burgess, the disrespect of these youngins out there has gotten to an unacceptable level. It was unacceptable at the beginning of the episode, but by this time they throwing rocks in your house. They done messed up this quilt you don't spend probably. If you know anybody who's made quilts in their life, like I grew up with people who made quilts. You know what I'm saying? Like that coffee hitting that quilt. Yo, I've sewn before. I have actually sewn before.
Wow.
Yeah. So in my geometry class, like I look back on it now, like I find it laughable. But in geometry, the final project was making a quilt. And so like you had to try to, fit as many diamonds and, and rhombi and squares and pentagons, in your quilt. And it wasn't big. I don't want you to think it was it's probably like the size probably this laptop screen.
Okay.
But for me, I've told y'all, manual labor is not my thing. This was a freaking chore. I was taking you're supposed to keep your quilt in the room. I was taking my quilt home. Like I needed all the time. Like it was hard. My quilt was trash, but I got an A. That's all that matters. But so when I saw that quilt, I thought about like my grandmama. I thought about some of my aunts, especially my grandmother, and like just the level of everything. She got like design. My stuff was squares, bro. Like she don't sewn in words and all this type of stuff. Wow. That's months and months of work.
Yeah.
And for that coffee to hit that and ruin that quilt, oh yeah. Yeah, she called the police. I mean, F them kids. Yeah, I'm calling the police. And so, yeah, she called the police. And then the cop who had made several appearances in the episode, Officer Marcus, because, he shows up at one point when he sees Cherie with the science project. And it's like, he sees the mother in the episode when she's about to have a potential conflict with the mob guys.
Yeah.
But he also was there to clear out Shaw, Shogun, and Dirty from the hallway when they about to get into a cipher. And so like there's this line he's walking where he is on one side this man in the community enough that Cherie and Mom feel comfortable talking to him, and he's African. He looks like he's African American cop. So it's like, oh, this is a person in the community. You know, he even says, remind me, I grew up in this building. I'm from here. So that means that Miss Burgess and whoever saw this person from a child, and he came back to help his community. But then there's the other side of it. The side that he feels he needs to be super harder on these young men than probably needs to be. Here's no problem. It needs to be. And he feels like this high level of machismo on steroids is needed.
Yeah.
That's why he feels comfortable helping and being nice to the women. But with the men, he feels like to get their respect, I have to be super hard, harder than them. And damn, he met somebody he couldn't out hard. Cause like, think about like he was, this is something that's very, very real. He was okay even with Shogun cussing him out. Like he was okay with the disrespect those guys gave him in the thing. Of course, he was by himself, probably same situation. But when Hayes rightfully let him know, there's two men here and only one of us is a soldier. He couldn't out hard him. And he saw that everybody else saw that too.
Dang.
And if you've ever been in any type of conflict between two men, and when it gets to that point where all of us have been in a situation where it's an argument, and the argument is gonna be me one-upping you, you know, in some type of way. Maybe not, I'm not saying me and you, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, someone may say something about your car, your girl, your money, your bankroll, whatever. But there's always that point where you know it's gone too far. But most time it doesn't, right? Most times you say something about my car, I say something about your car, then it's like, man, forget you. That's most arguments. But at that point, when he said, you know, there's only two people in one soul, and he turned his back to him, that was a point of no return in the mind of that cop. And he murdered him. He murdered him. Like, and you know it's murder because he's like, say something now. Say something now. Say something now. Like, you know, he tased him first, and then Hayes, I wish Hayes would have thrown the punch. You know what I'm saying? But he punched him, tried to punch him, and then he got put in the chokehold. And so one thing is that actually is in reference to a specific event that happened in Staten Island. Yeah. There was a incident with a police officer that killed a young man in Staten Island around that time. And it did result in a lot of marching, a lot of really, 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 really bad relations with the cops there. So not saying it was done like this. I don't when I read it, I don't think it was happening at a basketball court. You know what I mean? But this was in reference to an event. And with everything going on now, well, you know what? With everything that's been going on forever, it's just that now it's become more, the media has got more into it. It has become more evident to people who don't look like us. It was a hard episode. That was a hard ending, bro. I ain't gonna lie, man. I got misty-eyed. I can be man. Like, this dude's so dope. You know what I'm saying? I still got misty-eyed. And once again, the cinematography of it. That pigeon going from Miss Burgess to going to Rebel, to going to Shaw, to going to Shogun. Who did I leave out? Did I mention everybody? I think I did. But and then that pigeon overlooking, Jerome, and then going past Cherie and D-Love, and then even going past Bobby, and then going past D-Love's house and his brother to the city. I forgot all about that pigeon. You know what I'm saying? And then it came back. It was just very well. The music was really good at the end, you know, because usually end up with a hip hop song, but like it was just like some really like melancholy music, but not too dramatic. Like they didn't go full, you know what I'm saying, Mahalia Jackson at the end. But I was like, I really was sitting here like, who wrote this?
Yeah.
And I hope they're coming back. Cause that was a dramatic scene, bro, but it wasn't overly dramatic.
Yeah.
It was, and there was so much going on at that time, right? Because like the cops were coming, but then you also, Divine almost got caught. You know what I'm saying? Like isn't that hilarious? He finally got the key and he had to throw it. I was laughing. I'm not even gonna front. So now that makes me think like, now somebody really come looking for your ass because you're not gonna have the re-up money for that key. Remember the Dominicans fronted you.
Yep.
Oh, yo, and even that, like, man, just real quick about Divine, like how everybody's gotten tired of his shit. Like, Hayes, I'm not gonna front you. His old girl, like, I'm not gonna support you with this bullshit. I'm not gonna help you destroy yourself and me.
Right.
Because he's like, well, I gotta help my mom. And of course, we go back to like, no, if you want to help your mom, you took that money from Hayes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's who was missing. Divine saw it all go down too. That's who was missing for the pigeon thing. But man, heartbreaking, bro, because I really liked Hayes.
And that's bringing to another point. They killed off another likable character.
Yeah, so it's almost like, are we replacing characters? Is it like, okay, we can only handle so many, so Hayes is gone, so let's bring in Rebel and Jerome. But I felt the same way. I was like, damn, man, like, damn, Hayes was multi-dimensional. Like, we just learned that he was a soldier.
Right.
He talked about Germany, and like, I was like, wow, like this, and then, you know, the whole Shogun thing, like, you coming with me. I did not see Hayes' death coming. Like, it's crazy. I knew Jerome was about to get killed. Like, that's what I thought was gonna get killed. I didn't see Hayes. I thought Hayes was gonna be a fixture in the show forever. And a great actor. He did a great job. I'm gonna miss him.
I think he did a great job because early on you saw that he was not the regular D-boy on the block.
Multi-dimensional.
Yeah. And from that, you kind of saw like, there's something more to him, that multi-dimension that you speak of. And you know he's got some type of smarts to him. Just the way he moves. Yeah, you kind of felt that presence.
So, bringing Rakim to the island. Like,
yes, because he was the one that was observing things and kind of like, okay, I know what to do.
And he always was trying to squash conflict the best he could.
He was.
Man.
So I know one thought that came through my mind is that here's this soldier who comes back from the armed forces here, who is very smart, very intelligent. What makes him get into the drug gang? You know? It's like, what? And obviously he didn't want to do it because you saw like, yo, man, if you get your stuff hot enough, we could get up all out of here. So you know that wasn't his.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that was a lost opportunity because, I mean, you know, veterans in this country are not treated right. There's just no other way to say it. Like he said, it was very important what he was saying. I was like, yo, like I was in Germany, I got love. But whether it's the Persian Gulf War, it's the Vietnam War, it's the World War II, these men and women come back expecting hero, expecting me to treat like a hero, expecting that there's a job waiting for them. And I can speak on behalf of many veterans I've been around. It's not like that, a lot of them. A lot of them, they don't have a company or an uncle or somebody waiting for them, especially black and brown people. They come back and their skill was doing this. Now they come back and it's like, unless you're going to be a cop and hopefully, you didn't pick up any habits or addictions or depression or anxiety, which you probably did. You come back and there's not a world waiting for you with open arms with opportunity. Yeah. So like, I wouldn't be surprised. I wish they would have done it. I wish he would have even said that in his speech talking about that. It would have been great if he would have said, I came back, there was nothing waiting for me. It would have been great if you would have just said that sentence, because now we know we're made to make assumptions. But that's what I gather from it. So.
Yeah, that's definitely a truth right there. Who knows what opportunities there was for veterans, especially back in the late 80s, early 90s. I don't know if maybe, you know how we all have programs and things like that that veterans are aware of somewhat now. I don't know if that was necessarily the case back then.
Yeah, and even then, like there was no internet.
That's true.
There was no internet.
True.
You come back in 1989, it's like you go back to probably then you're in New York. I mean, in the South, we have more bases for obvious reasons. But you up in New York, I mean, who do you probably even have to talk to besides the people he really knew? And you said, like, meanwhile, you brought up you gained these other type of skills, these leadership skills, these conflict aversion skills, these logistics skills,
these operation skills.
And you get to respect them people like Miss Burgess, because they still see you as soldier, as private or captain or whatever Hayes that came back home after making good. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. May even get a little bit of lax treatment from normal cops because, he ain't doing nothing, man. That's a former soldier, man.
Right.
So Officer Mark wasn't trying to hit it. Yeah, sad, man.
Yeah.
Very well written episode, though, man. You ready for the LVPs and MVPs?
Oh man, I'm ready for it, boy. I'm ready for it.
You want to do LVP first?
I'll do LVP.
Your LVP, bro.
LVPs, man. My LVP, even though you saw how things escalated to the point that it did, and you saw where his source of his anger, his fear, his manhood was being tested at, it was a cop, dude.
Officer Marcus.
Yeah. Like unfortunately, because he's a cop, he's in a situation where he has to be self-controlled somehow, some way. And that wasn't done in that situation. And he killed one of the most likable characters, even though the character was a drug dealer. For the show purposes, he killed one of the most likable characters on the show. And so he gets the LVP, man.
All right. So I got dual LVPs on this. I'm glad you mentioned Officer Mark, so I had to really. So I'm gonna bring up another plot point we've not discussed because I was saving for the LVP.
Mm-hmm.
Co-LVPs, man. Bobby and D-Love.
Oh, I'm gonna hear this one.
For getting beat up by the cast of Happy Days. You had a White's Burger? Yo, look, what I'm about to say was, I got to keep doing these disclaimers. You know what I'm saying? We at the Frito and Willie show, we feel that you should go for love in any type of way you want. You know what I'm saying? Gender, race, nationality, religion, whatever. Love is love, and I do mean that from the heart. However, if you're selling weed, tea-weed at that, at White's Burgers, it not be the smartest time to holler at a white girl. What were you thinking, Bobby? In fact, what? I'm taking D-Love off of that. No, it's just Bobby. D-Love did the best he could. Nah, my bad, D-Love. Bobby, you get the LVP. You don't lost your money. You don't got your head cracked. You got beat up by Opie Taylor and Richard Cunningham. You can't even tell your friends you got jumped by these people, bro. LVP, bro. He almost put his whole family in danger. Yeah, they had the money. Pre-Jerome, they had the money. Your ass in the hospital. And I'm not saying he deserved that butt whooping, but bruh, take your milkshake and go home.
Pretty much.
You don't make easy cash. And I knew it was Of course they beat your ass.
I didn't even think about that, dog. I was just like, you know what? I thought homie was just trying to shoot his shot. You know what I mean? And
No, there ain't nothing wrong with shooting your shot.
yeah.
But make sure you shoot your shot on home when you got home field advantage. Here we go to other people's gym, jumping up from half court. They're like, what are you doing? We got a whole game going on. Who are you? You can't shoot half court shots in an away gym. You can't. That is for that's around your home ground. You know what I'm saying? Don't be wasting shots in my gym. Whack. All right, man. MVP for you though, dog. MVP.
MVP, Joaquin Woodbine.
Yeah.
Straight up. He came with it. He elevated everybody's performance that he came up with, that he came in contact with. Like, he just brought a presence to the show, and he was the best actor in the best episode. And that's why yeah.
That's dope. That's the MVP. Like, you the best player on the best team. That's dope. You just said best actor on the best episode.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so I agree. I totally agree. I'm going to do maybe not MVP, but I am going to give love to Miss Burgess. Simply because, like, she came in and it was like, at first, it was like, what does this got to do with anything? Right. And the fact that her arc literally was the backbone of the show. Yeah. Of the, the generational divide, the role that police play in our neighborhoods, like she felt unsafe, and the dilemma that our neighborhoods literally face is like, sometimes we don't want to call the police. And be honest with you, a lot of times we don't want to call the police. Right. And the next time someone says, like, why don't we want to call the police? You just show them this episode. Like, that's the conflict. It's like, you want to be safe. You even want these kids to act right. You do. But it's like, hey, like, what if I call and I make the situation worse? So shout out to Miss Burgess. Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah, that is excellent point right there. I love that. Yeah. Willie, great episode.
Great episode, man.
Appreciate the insight.
No, you been dropping jewels, bro. Dropping all the jewels.
Yo, I want to thank all out there, all the listeners, all the watchers. We appreciate the love. Continue to like, subscribe, comment. We're on all social media sites, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We're on all that. So go ahead and YouTube. Please go out and support. You'll see everything on the side and all that jazz. And with that, we out, man. And you got anything to say?
Nah, man, just stay safe out there. We in some very crazy times. Just be safe out there. At the time, I don't know if you noticed, but a certain announcement was just made. So, yeah, apparently our 46th president has been tentatively confirmed. So, crazy times right now. Y'all be safe out there, and see y'all next time.
For sure. Peace.